Front row MMA here at the Helix in Dublin for Cage Warrior 70 with Peter Queally after an impressive win over Konrad. And I'm going to get his last name wrong. It's going to kill me. I'm scared I'm going to say Iwanowski because the last thing I wanted to. So my apologies straight out. A decision win, but certainly the second and third round, there was no doubt that you were outclassing your opponent a little bit. Is that how it felt in there?
Yeah, I felt like the first round too. He had a good spell for about 2.5 minutes when he kind of had my back. He wasn't really doing anything, but he had a good tight grip and I couldn't shake him for a few minutes. But once I got his hands back and I got out, sorry, I'm spitting on you. That was it. I could see him. He was gone. He'd wasted all his energy, and it was I had 12 minutes to go to work then, and I did.
You say that you're somewhat disappointed that you couldn't get the finish, but I think one of the things that your performance showed today was a lot of patience as well. You didn't dive into anything. Was that something you have to work on? Like, when he's on his back, and is that something you have to sort of?
No, I generally train with savages every day, and I do finish. And not finish. We don't finish spars, but I do get taps and things. And just today, when I got a few dominant positions on the ground, we were real slippy, and every time I felt like I kind of had to choke in, he'd bridge and wriggle, and I'd have to take mount, and I'd lose it again. And he was doing a good job of mount escaping as well. I could feel the big bridge and roll coming, and I had to be respectful of that. And he just kept himself alive, and he deserves credit for that. But I do feel like I should have finished. Yeah.
It seems that the stand-up game, you again in the second and third, particularly your timing, your sense of distance, everything was just a little sharper. Yeah. Again, is that how it felt in there?
Yeah, he felt very slow, and to me, now that's not disrespect to Konrad, but he's a grappler and a wrestler. And most guys, when I stand up, they feel slow to me, and especially at this weight. I used to fight at lightweight, and at this weight, it's just like slow motion to me. It really is, and I'm most disappointed I didn't get the finish standing, if I'm honest, because I could just see him. But every time I'd heard him and I'd go for the finish, he would dive, and it's difficult to finish a guy when you know they're going to do that. You have to defend the takedown then, and I felt like he was actually happy to when I'd sprawled, he'd nearly give me top rather than go back to the top to stand up again.
You talked about some of the guys you train with, some of the savages at SPG Ireland, and it seems to me, I'm going to create a word, I think, but as the fight progressed, your performance became more SPG-ified. Yeah. Your movement and the wrestling. I mean, it was very hard. As Andrew said, it was like watching Carl's little brother. Yeah. How important are those guys to you? That team behind you.
They're everything. My coach Sean Kavanagh and the guys, Artem, Lubov, Chris Fields, Cahill, Connor, Brian, there's a heap of them there, and they're a very important part. They're the only part really, and I feel like there's a little bit of every one of them in me. There's a bit of Connor there, there's a bit of Cahill there, especially in that fight. There's a bit of Chris, there's a bit of everything there, and there has to be, because we train every day, and so I'm just like a sponge off those guys, and I think there's a bit of me in them as well, and that's just how it goes, and that's where we're the best gym in Europe, and going to be the best gym, recognised as the best gym in the world very soon.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes, but you're not marked up. You look fairly fit. How quickly would you like to,
Tomorrow, anytime. I'm not hurt.
You were
go again now. If somebody scripts someone else up out there, I'll go now.
You were pegged for the Aon tournament.
Yeah, that's. I believe that's off now. I think it's postponed to February, but I don't know about that now. Maybe I won't do that anymore now. I'll see what happens. But that was supposed to be in October, and I was in that. But I'll see. I want a quick turnaround, go again in maybe September or something again.
Well, Cage Warrior's got a lot of events coming up over the next 4 or 5 months. Do you care where? Would you travel to Jordan next week if they need us?
I don't care where it is. If they want to give me a fight next week in Jordan, let's go. No problem at all. And John is in close contact with Ian all the time, so I'm sure I'll hear about it if there's a spot available.
I know the answer to this question because I'm asking an SPG guy. But what's the end result for you? It's not. Is it Cage Warriors Championship? You're happy? I would suggest probably not, knowing the SPG mentality.
No, it's UFC. We're all going for Cage Warriors is great, and that championship belt was a stepping stone for Connor, Cahill, Chris. Loads of those guys won it, and it's an amazing accolade to have on their resume. But I think that the Cage Warriors would even recognise most fighters' end goal is the UFC, and that's that.
Would you follow in the footsteps of your teammates and say a tough Europe, or is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I would. Once that comes up a welterweight, or I go middleweight, I don't care. I'd go, and that's it, and no problem. And it suits me because I used to fight lightweight. I don't cut at all to make welterweight, so the household would suit me. I think I could fight every day and make weight. It'd be no problem for me.
Watching performances like that, we'd be happy to watch it. Behind that, there's got to be people that you want to give a shout out to and sponsors you'd like to thank, so please feel free.
Yeah, Colin Ryan in Fires Planet in Waterford, he's my only sponsor, and he helps me out big time. So he's who I want to thank. Other than that, just the guys at the gym, and especially John Cavan, my coach, and all the lads in the gym.
Peter, it was a pleasure watching you work. We look forward to seeing you do that again. Thank you so much for your time.